Yeah. MD, JPB, it's only right, baby.
Yeah, why you mad? I got a bad bro. Name hot in these streets, no Tabasco. But I'm so stuck, that's a fact, yo. And if you think I'm frontin', you can run it back, yo. Go run it back.
You know that I run it. Everything you wanna do, I already done it. And I got your little boo telling me she love me. I got this. Damn, it's gonna be a long night.
Woo! 2021. I don't know if you guys feel any different, but yeah, I don't. The world is still shitty. Hello guys, what is up? It is me, Prince of This, and I'm back here with another video. Today we're doing What If Deku Ate the Mera no Mi, Part 9. And this one has been requested a lot more than I thought it would, because I didn't think that people love this series as much as the other ones. So I guess thank you for giving some love to this series, because I like it a lot. I like the way I structured it. And also besides that, you know, we reached 5K and I can finally say these words. We're blowing up, and I love that you guys are giving me so much support. I'm getting at least 100 subs every day now, and it's crazy. I don't know why, but you know what? I'm not gonna be humble and everything, because humble is also another form of bragging. So I'm not gonna say I didn't enjoy the high I got off from the success. I literally was yelling in my house every day because you guys just wouldn't stop subscribing. Anyway, I'm gonna stop saying embarrassing shit. Thank y'all. That's the whole point of this. Let's get right into the video, because I don't want to waste your time. And at the end of the video, I'm gonna shout out some people, so stick around so you can know who those people are. And if you don't have time for that, just go down the description and you will find their channel. Please subscribe to them, because well, you know, just a favor for me, please. Alright, let's get into the story. Last time we left off with Ace giving himself up to the villains, and they took him to their hideout. However, they could not convince him to join their side or kill him, because he was easily overpowering them. Soon the reason why Ace was so calm and collective was then revealed. He knew all along that his family would be coming to get him. Garp burst into the hideout full of anger, and every one of the villains freeze because of Garp's immense conqueror's haki. As Garp spots Ace across the room, he smiles. "Hope we didn't keep you waiting too long." Ace then smiles back as he stands up, and Luffy and Sabo run and hug him. "Hey, calm down. You didn't really think I was ever in trouble, did you?" asked Ace. Sabo then responded, "Of course not. We were worried for these poor saps." He points at the villains who were now captured, and some of the heroes laugh. Then all of a sudden, they notice Shigaraki just twitching erratically. All Might then says, "Sorry, Tomura Shigaraki, but it's time to stop." At this moment, Shigaraki starts to yell like a child in panic, and Nomu start to pour in through a portal, releasing a strange black goo. All the other heroes are panicking when all of a sudden, they're no longer in danger, and a barrier covers the villains and the oncoming Nomus, making them trapped. "Do you know why I became a national hero?" asked Garp. All the heroes then look in amazement as he says that the reason why is because he always followed through and protected everyone no matter the cost. Now we go to All For One above in his room, smiling. "I didn't expect anything less from you, but things aren't gonna go like they did last time." The portals then start to open outside as well, and the other heroes hear screaming outside. Ace, Sabo, and Luffy then using their observation haki feel what is going on outside, and so does Garp, and he starts to smile as the other heroes run outside to help. But All Might is clearly in distress. Everyone then starts to wonder why Garp isn't doing anything, and why does he seem so confident. But then their questions are answered when outside, every portal that was being opened was then being sealed by Garp's barrier quirk. Essentially speaking, Garp used haki and fused it with his barrier quirk, and then he made the gates just freaking shut. He closed the portals forcefully, and everyone is just shocked. All Might then says, "The ability to protect everyone anywhere and always." So this is what the #1 hero used to be. Everyone is amazed except Luffy and Ace and Sabo, because they already knew he was holding back as to not hurt them when they're usually training. Now you may be wondering why, despite Garp being so strong, why is it that some people might not know about him and they're surprised that he's this strong? The reason is because in this world he was one of the first people to get a quirk, but that was back in the old days, and some people from the new generation didn't know him that well, but now they were witnessing how powerful he really was. Of course, Garp was like, still known throughout the world, but like no one has ever seen him in action, but his legends, precede him. And now they were watching him get down. Yeah. Garp then says, "I'm done playing your games, All For One. It's time to finish what we started." Just as he says this, All For One walks down and Shigaraki looks towards him with shame in his eyes. Every step that All For One took filled the heroes with fear, because his very presence was terrifying. "Alright, let's get this over with, shall we?" said All For One. The face of All For One in this What If was not covered by a mask, and he didn't need like a life support, because this version of him was way stronger than the one we know. For a moment, he stops in his tracks and stares at a certain someone. Ace knew who he was staring at, and it was none other than his son named Monkey D. Luffy. He quickly got in front of Luffy and stared at All For One with a gaze that released Conqueror's haki. But to his surprise, it didn't do anything, and in fact, the villain then smiled as he put his hand out and tilted his head. "So you can use it too, huh?" said All For One. He then releases a lot of wind that blows up the hideout, and in turn causes all the villains and heroes to be blasted away and everywhere. This causes a catastrophe, and everyone is scattered across the battlefield. The police are wondering if the heroes are okay, and luckily they were. Ace and his brothers then burst out from the debris and start looking around for some of the other policemen, because they're mostly normal people. They don't have good quirks to do this. If they did, they'd be heroes. They then start going around and helping out the policemen, when far off they notice Garp and All Might standing in front of a tall man in a black suit and with gray hair. "Is that the guy that Gramps used to tell us stories about?" asked Luffy. Sabo then says, "I guess so. Hey Ace, what are you?" They then both look at Ace, who has never looked more tense, and he says, "Guys, word to the wise, when I say run, run." Luffy and Sabo then get chills down their spines as we go to Garp and All Might. All Might then says, "So we meet again, All For One. If it isn't Toshinori." Oh, I forgot. You go by All Might, right? You're funny. He waves at All Might, and All Might just gets blasted away quite the distance, but he manages to stop himself, and All For One says, "You got better since then." He then feels a lot of pressure, and he looks at Garp, who could not be more pissed. "So this is how you're getting off? By preying on youngsters?" asked Garp. All For One then says in a joying and kind of ominous tone, "Oh, come on, I'm allowed to mess around a bit. I'm old." He then starts walking around, and while doing so, he raises his arm in All Might's direction. "Let me have some fun." Just as he plans to attack again, Garp appears in front of him with a punch, and he barely dodges. After dodging, he goes to sweep kick Garp, but Garp just jumps forward and thus dodges while also doing a front flip forward. He lands and turns around while activating a huge barrier that then expands until it hits All For One, sending him flying towards All Might, who then goes and sends a punch to his stomach, thus sending him flying, before appearing in the air and smashing him back down with the Carolina Smash. All For One falls like a meteor until he lands and sends tremors throughout the battlefield. Everyone felt like an earthquake had begun, but it was just them fighting. Far off, Endeavor was feeling frustrated, and what's worse is that he tried to step forward, but his body wouldn't listen to him. "No wonder I'm still number 3. I can't get into this fight, but I should be out there fighting." All For One, All Might, and Garp then keep fighting non-stop. It was a battle so strong that just getting near made you just feel so much pressure that you felt your knees. But weirdly, those known as the Three Terrors, who were just teenagers, didn't seem affected by this weird force. Now you might be wondering why people can feel this pressure. It's because not only is Garp using haki, but of course All For One is using haki as well. Which kind of leaves you to think, who is really at the disadvantage, in the fight? Well, let's go back to the fight and find out. All Might is punched by All For One right in the side where his injury resides, and he coughs up a lot of blood. Garp then slams a good uppercut into All For One's jaw and uses All Might haki to kick him away, and Garp asks, "You good, kid?" All Might then says, "I'll live, but this is pointless. He's gotten even better than before." Garp then says, no, we're damaging him, but it's just that it's frustrating he hasn't even used most of his quirks yet. Garp then puts armor hockey all over his body, thus turning his body black, like completely, and All Might thinks, what is that? Garp says nothing and leaps forward as all of a sudden a loud boom is heard. All For One and Garp keep clashing non-stop with hockey. Every punch thrown had enough force to destroy the landscape surrounding them. Then this escalated and sparks of red lightning started to fly around, and yeah, it was just crazy. You know what this is. This is like the clash of hockey, you know. The same thing that happened with Luffy and Don Quixote. This battle resembled a natural catastrophe, but it was all being caused by only two men who were not willing to go down no matter what. Garp punched All For One in the stomach, and then All For One retaliated and swung at Garp's jaw, and he actually managed to hit him square on. This made Garp almost buckle and fall, but then he held himself up, and while infusing his barrier quirk with hockey, he went in for a punch. He covered his hand with the barrier, and he went in for a punch. And All For One manages to catch his punch, but his arm gets like damaged bad. All his bones almost crack instantly. All For One then says, just give up already. Then he uses one of his quirks to create a steel lance that comes out of his palm, like the palm of his hand, and he succeeds in stabbing Garp's shoulder. Garp grits his teeth in pain, however, using just pure physical strength and his will, he resists passing out, and by this point, everything around them was just destroyed, and the two were in a crater made from their own fight. Everyone was stunned, and Ace, Luffy, and Sabo were wondering if their Gramps needed some help. Sabo then says, you know, I do have a new special thing I've been dying to try out. Luffy then says, really? Same. Ace then says, you guys really want in on this? This could get crazy, you know. Come on, what's the worst that could happen? Everything's already destroyed, said Luffy. When he hears this, Ace smiles and he starts flying with his fire, and he tells his two brothers, let's do this. His flames go from red to pure blue, and Luffy squats down and activates Gear Second. Sabo's body starts to transform until his body gets covered by layers of metal, to the point where he looks like a lizard. Then he grows metal wings, and he also has metal claws coming out of his body. Then he doubles in size and is now 12 feet tall, and he says, so what do you think? Ace then says, not bad, but let's see how you use it in the fight. Right now, Sabo looks like a full-on like dragon, but he can walk straight. It's just, if I could show you, I would. It would look something close to this, but he doesn't have a long neck. Sabo then smirks, and he gets a head start and leaps with incredible strength while the other heroes watch in amazement. Luffy and Ace then also rush forward in an instant, and Sabo is landing a solid kick in All For One's face. Luffy then sees an opening and yells, Gum Gum Pistol! He then hits All For One square in the stomach, and it sends him flying out of the crater and into the air. Ace then flies up above All For One and he yells, Fire Fist! A ginormous burst of blue flame starts just heading down for All For One until it takes the shape of a fist and smacks him down while burning him. He screams in agony as he starts falling down while thinking, damn it, I can barely use any hockey now. These kids are way too strong for their age. But I'm not done yet. Just as he lands, he manages to do so as safely as he could, and he yells as all of a sudden metal tendrils start to sprout out of his stomach, and Luffy and Sabo are just rushing in for a fight. While they do this, Ace lands back down and starts helping Garp up out of the crater. When he does this, when he helps Garp out, he lays him down and starts using a bit of fire to, burn his shoulder a bit to stop the blood from coming out. However, the metal lance that All For One shoved in there looks a little too dangerous to pull out right now. Sorry, don't worry, soon you'll be able to get back into the fight, said Ace. Garp then says, kid, I never thought I would say this, but I don't think I can go on. Ace then says, come on, stop joking, this isn't like you. Well, no matter how strong my will is, I can't beat old age. It's funny, isn't it? After all I've taught you, here I am, lying down, out of the fight. Somehow, when I wasn't looking, you guys really grew up, didn't you? Ace then says, so like usual, you want to dump the rest of your work on us, right? Garp then starts to laugh uncontrollably at this, but this soon makes him cough up blood, and Ace tells him to calm down, you know, cause bro, you're about to die, chill out. Ace then says, fine. If you're not gonna fight, then at least watch us take down this guy. It's the least we can do for both you and All For One. Garp then says, what do you mean by that? Ace then responds, I'm pretty sure by now he's noticed that he's fighting his own son, but Luffy doesn't know anything yet. It'll be best for everyone if we just end this now, and if you die before this fight ends, I'll kill you, old man. Garp then says, don't worry, just go on. Ace, after hearing this, then rushes into battle, and Garp just watches as they fight, and so does every other hero unwilling to move. At this point, it wasn't the mysterious force that's holding him back. They all just got a feeling that they should just not interfere. All Might is watching, just saying, number one hero, huh? Well, looks like for once, I can't do anything. Luffy, Sabo, and Ace fight All For One ceaselessly, and it was pretty drawn out, like a really drawn out battle, and through every single clash, neither side gave up, but in the end, they did beat All For One. Just as he falls to his knees ready to die, he looks at the three exhausted young heroes and he smiles. Hey, you. Land the finishing blow. He was staring at Luffy, who then says, what? All For One then says, if I die today, at least grant me one wish. Let this kid end me and my reign of terror. Sabo was about to say something, but Ace holds him back and says that he should just let Luffy handle this. Luffy then moves towards All For One and says, you know heroes aren't allowed to kill, right? All For One then says, well, I'm a heinous villain. Are you sure you don't want to just end it right now? But why me? asks Luffy. All For One does not answer and he keeps quiet as Luffy then clenches his fist and he raises his arm. He then goes in for a punch, but just as his fist just hits All For One's chest about to kill him, he sees the villain with a huge smile. A smile just full of happiness, and he whispers, I pass it on to you. Luffy hears him whisper this under his breath just as he punched him in the chest, thus stopping his heart. He falls over and hits the ground with a thud and dies. We did it, it's over, right? asks Sabo. Luffy then says, yeah, it's over. Sabo, hearing this, deactivates his transformation and Ace powers down and Luffy gets out of second gear. They then all fall down simultaneously, right there, and all of a sudden medics start to arrive and the heroes are in panic. The three as well as Garp are taken into the ambulance and straight to a hospital. Helicopters start to descend and everyone sees the four just being taken into the ambulance, and through the cameras this event was recorded and it baffled everyone and it was amazing. Some felt inspired, some were of course defeated, and others were simply just confused. They didn't know how to describe what they had witnessed. The next day comes and Luffy is the last to wake up. He's in a hospital bed and he feels really lethargic right now. Man, I need some food. He gets up to find his family using observation hockey, but he was too tired to use it, that well. So he stepped out of his room and asked the nurse where his brothers are. After seeing Luffy, she gets all excited, and since everyone knows what great deeds they had done, she's of course she's kind of a fan. She then guides him to her room and tells him, come on, hurry, your friends are waiting for you. Luffy raises an eyebrow to this, but then he just runs into the room and he sees Hashira, Bakugo, Uraraka, Ida, and Kirishima, of course, as well as his brothers and Garp, who is lying in bed. Kirishima then says, hey Luffy, what's up, man? Garp then says, you finally woke up. Luffy then joins them and they talk a bit more, and Sabo starts to ask, by the way, what happened to the other villains? Uraraka says, they escaped with that teleporting guy's help. Hearing this, Ace grits his teeth in anger as even after everything they went through, some of the villains still escaped. Ace then says, by the way, you guys came after us, didn't you? Hashira then says, how did you know that? Sabo then answered, because we would have done the same thing. Also, observation hockey, so yeah. They all then slightly chuckle as Garp watches his boys with their friends and he thinks, man, I could die happy right now. Then soon a doctor comes in and tells them to get out for a bit so they can check up on Garp, and so they do while waving goodbye. After this, the kids go around the hospital talking, and even Bakugo joins in, and the others consider this a freaking miracle considering how he usually acts. So anyway, we go to the next day. Ace and Sabo and Luffy are still at the hospital. They're currently in Luffy's hospital room, and in comes a nurse who tells them that they have a visitor. The nurse then moves out of the way to reveal All Might, and they're a bit surprised. All Might then says, "Hello kids, how's it been?" Ace then says, "Oh, it's pretty good. We were just told to stay here because they're being a bit overprotective. We're not even that hurt." All Might then says, "I see. Well, I have something important to tell you three." All of a sudden, he bows to the three and starts apologizing for not being able to step in and help. All Might then says, "I have a responsibility as the #1 hero that I pushed onto your family, and I am sorry for my incompetence." They get a bit flustered as they don't know how to react, and so they tell them to just stop because it's really nothing much. And Sabo says, "Besides, we all made it out alive, so you should tell us why you're really here." All Might is surprised that he actually realized this, and he then tells them about the dorms and how things are gonna be, from now on. He also tells them about how the world is, spiraling a bit out of control right now. As things are, the Japanese government are a bit confused on how to deal with the three terrors achievement. If you don't know why I keep referring to them as the three terrors, I mentioned back in a few parts that that's the nickname that the Sabo, Ace, and Luffy were given because back in the day they used to not know how to do things and they destroy things, but they were also very young, so they were kind of popular. Regardless, they were given that nickname and it kind of stuck and they don't like it. Anyway, everyone in the country can admit that everything they did is undeniable. They defeated perhaps the strongest villain because that villain backhanded All Might several times and everyone saw it on TV. And they've been sidekicks for years, but it's still unclear where they really stand in the hero world because they don't know what to do with them because they're still in school and it's a whole thing. But by the looks of the battle, they definitely surpassed the #1 hero as a team. They don't know that alone Ace could definitely take down All Might, but it kind of offsets the balance, which is kind of the whole main thing. All Might then continues to talk and says, "So that's all you need. That's all you need to know. And when Garp wakes up, please get his permission. And of course, from now on, you will get a lot more attention. So stay on guard." The three nod as All Might leaves while saying that although he doesn't deserve to say it, he is very proud of them. He then leaves and slams the door, and they realize how serious things are. But living with someone like Garp, you get to just learn to switch the topics of conversations very fast. And they start talking about something else, which is something that Luffy has been dealing with lately. Ace then asks, "So you think you might have a second quirk?" Luffy says, "It might have been something to do with All for One. He whispered something before he died." Ace then starts to think about what Garp told him, but he wonders if he should really tell Luffy about his past. He ponders this, but then pretends to act like he knows nothing, because he doesn't think it's the right time. In order to suppress this power for now, Luffy will have to start using Haki to just, stop it whenever he sees red sparks, because he can't control it, it just happens. And later they were planning on telling Garp, who definitely needed to know, so that's all set. Now with the week they were given a week, if you didn't catch that. The three, they just train and to get over the last battle because Garp would have said so, and that's how they do. Also, Garp isn't dead or anything, he's just in critical condition. He's fine. Soon they were allowed to go back to school, and this time they were gonna stay for a while, so of course they packed everything. Garp, of course, approved of them staying at the dorms because he trusts his little boys, and so they go. By the time they arrived, their teammates had already done the whole special moves thing and seeing each other's rooms. And when they came in, it was close to night, and Aizawa met them out on the front of the gates. Aizawa says, "So, we're finally back. I hope you haven't slacked off or anything." "Nah, we didn't just stop training. You do know who our Gramps is, right?" said Sabo. Aizawa then says, "Fair enough." He then welcomes them to the dorms, and when they enter the living rooms, they see everyone just hanging out and they're pretty happy. And when the others notice that they have entered the premises, they just go wild and jump at them just with their eyes full of happiness and sadness a bit. Watching your friend jump in headfirst against such a dangerous person on TV, is the most terrifying and frustrating thing to watch, especially for those who actually came out to try and help them. But now they were back, so it's all good. Ace then starts to approach Hashira, and the others just kind of clear a path for him. And Hashira states, "So, you're finally back, Mr. Big Shot. You good?" Ace then says, "Yeah, I'll be fine. And now that we're back, let's see if you guys have been slacking off." Hearing this, Bakugo gets hype and so does Hashira, but some of the others just want to go do their homework, or sleep, or not fight someone who fought the #1 villain. And Aizawa says, "Well, you can do that tomorrow. I'm too tired to supervise you." Hearing this, Ace gets all sad and everyone starts to laugh. Momo then says, "Besides, you guys are really behind. You know that, right?" Luffy then says, "Have we really been gone for that long?" Hashira then says, "Yeah, matter of fact, we're about to take the provisional license exam, but apparently you guys can't take part in it." "What? Why not?" said Ace, Sabo, and Luffy simultaneously. And that's where I'm gonna leave it off. So you made it to the end of the video. Welcome. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys missed me and my content, but I am back and better than ever. For once, I'm not freaking tired. Matter of fact, I'm recording this and it's 4:28 exactly right now, and I've never felt more like full of energy, which is weird because I should be feeling like I want to pass out right now. Anyway, that's not the point. Thank y'all so much for the support. Thank you for subscribing. We're at 5K. Now we're on to 6K. Hopefully not too fast because I have a lot of ways to get in. But if you guys sub too fast, I have to do a lot of specials. I skipped the 4K special for now because I can't do that. I literally don't have time to do a 4K special now, so I'm just not gonna do it. Anyway, I wanted to address something real quick that I swear that I need you guys to actually listen to me, please. I don't do harems. I don't like them. They're stupid. They don't work. They're not real. They just don't work right. What the hell is the point of the main character having a bunch of girlfriends when all of them don't get the same amount of attention? The main character can say, "Yeah, I'll give them the same amount of attention. I love them all equally." No, you don't. That's not realistic, and I find that very stupid. It doesn't work in real life. That's why people should not marry multiple wives. It just doesn't make sense. It's just stupid. I will not use that in what ifs. You get my point. Okay, let's move on to the shoutouts. First shout out. Sorry about that. First shout out is to Corral's What Ifs. I don't know why, but for some reason he doesn't get as many views as he has subs, which is freaking weird. I don't know. You guys can go check him out if you like him. Watch his stuff. I've been meaning to shout him out for a while now. Second shout out goes to Josh Loves Anime. He started DMing me a few days back. We just talked a little bit. I tried to help him out, and I think he's doing fairly well. If you like what is that are a little bit more dark and a little bit more edgy, you can go watch his stuff. I don't really like edgy what is, but it's to each his own. If you like his content, you should go watch it. And you can also watch mine. Also, I'm gonna shout out my second channel. I haven't gotten serious about it, but when I do, I will start drawing a lot and much better on a wider scale. I just need to get the right equipment. But yeah. Also, obviously, thanks to Headhunter's Edits for the intro. It's still fire, so thank you. And the next what if should be what if Asta was a conduit. I know it's an underrated series and not many people like it, but I like it regardless because by far it's the only Asta what if that's super far into the series. Also, I was thinking of this whole thing about what if Asta was a player. Of course, this is solo leveling. I already have the thumbnail set up. I even made the whole status board for Asta, and I liked how much thought I put into it, so I might be doing that soon. But I have to finish one what if to start another, and in this case I have to finish a lot of what ifs to get into the ones that I want to. Also, I'm still watching Naruto right now. I'm almost to 200 episodes. Also, just want to point this out. I despise Karin, that Uzumaki girl. She's so freaking clingy. It's stupid. She might be even worse than Sakura. But yeah, we're not here to talk about how much I hate Karin. I'm not that far into the series yet. She might redeem herself. I might not hate her as much. This is the end. I hope you guys like the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share this with anybody else who might like what ifs. Also, I hope you guys don't mind me bringing back the old way that I do videos. I figured it'd be less boring for you guys to just look at a thumbnail the entire video and just, you know, have a little bit something in the background. If you can't see it that well, it's because I don't know how well to blur it to not get copyrighted. So yeah, I'm still figuring that out. Goodbye. I'm gonna go and watch Naruto. See ya.